What's up, guys? Double coverage here. It's your boy Logan and your boy Jaden, the co-host. We're going to be going over the top 10 wide receivers of 2025 in this video. We're just going to hop right into it. Number 10, I got Ted McMillan, rookie on the Panthers. 70 catches, 1,014 yards, 7 touchdowns, and not the best season, but he also is a rookie, already hitting the 1,000-yard mark. Panthers had a good season. They made it to the postseason. He had 81 yards in his one postseason game, but I think he did really well for a rookie.
So my number 10 is Garrett Wilson of the New York Jets. So in terms of talent, he's unquestionably a top 10 player. You know, the way he slithers in and out of routes and his speed and acceleration, just to me, and his flexibility on catches is Justin Jefferson-esque, and I think he deserves that top 10 spot.
Whoa. Justin Jefferson-esque. So at my number 9, I have Michael Wilson for the Arizona Cardinals. He was a last, 5 games threat when he was the primary wide receiver. He truly put out his numbers whenever he was number 1. He had 78 recoveries, 1,006 yards, barely passed that 1,000-yard mark, and 7 touchdowns.
That was my late fantasy football pickup, by the way.
Yeah, I know it was.
So my number 9, I have Mike Evans of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I do think that he's still at the age of 31 is a premier outside threat, you know. And they're doing a good job of preserving him with 671 snaps in 14 games, which is 48 per game.
Yeah.
And just the way that he's being used and like his efficiency, you know, even at the age of 31 is just amazing to me. Again, I also think he is a potential ballot Hall of Famer. Maybe.
Potential?
Maybe.
No, that man is definitely going in the Hall of Fame with the 1,000-yard seasons he's had his whole career. This is his first one knocking off.
Say he pushed through an 11th straight season with at least 1,000 yards, you know. And
that man is a first ballot.
You haven't seen that since Jerry Rice, you know. So I got him at number 9. Of course, if he was younger, you know, in his prime, he would have been way higher.
Exactly. At number 8, I have good old Drake London, who played 12 games, but yet still managed to have 919 yards. So just imagine he played another 5 games, could have racked onto that. Again, he had 7 touchdowns, but he only had 68 catches, and he had 919 yards on that. That's an average of 13.5 per catch. That's pretty damn good. But, again, he played 12 games, so I have to have him a little bit lower than everybody else. He still performed in those 12 games.
All right, so at my number 8, I got Nico Collins. He's got good balance and a skill set. You know, his size, his speed, and his agility for his size is insane, and he has amazing hands. And I do think he has the rare ability to be a legitimate wide receiver 1. I just think he needs a little bit more time.
At number 7, I have Chris Olave.
Ooh, interesting. All right.
He had 100 receptions for 1,163 yards and 9 touchdowns. The receptions, he was number 7 in the NFL. The yards, he was number 8 in the NFL. And for the touchdowns, he was number 8 in the NFL. So it almost fits where he's number 7 on my list, but I personally think he had a really good season. He definitely carried the Saints offense because Alvin Kamara could not step it up. But
no, he could not.
Hey, Chris Olave had a really good season. If he keeps getting fed targets, I'm sure he'll make numbers out of those.
Kamara's age is catching up to him. So at my number 7, I got Malik Neighbors, you know. He caught the NFL's attention, you know. His rookie season, he caught over 100 passes for 1,200 yards with one of the worst offense, in my opinion, you know. With 4 different quarterbacks is just insane. So the fact that he was still able to produce that, you know, and that's the second most amount of receptions behind a rookie. And the only person above him is Brock Bowers at 112. Like, I mean, that's elite for a rookie season. So I got Malik Neighbors at number 7 for the 2025 season.
My number 6, I have Jamar Chase.
Okay.
Yes, an elite receiver, but he didn't really perform on the touchdown side of the things. He had 125 catches. He had 1,412 yards, which is 3rd for catches, 4th for yards. But he only had 8 touchdowns, which is tied 11th. I feel like Jamar Chase, with that big of a name, you should have more touchdowns under your belt. But he also did lose Joe Burrow. But Joe Burrow came back. He came back for 8 games. That's 1 touchdown a game if you compare that to Joe Burrow being back. He should have definitely performed a little bit better, had more touchdowns. But he did have a lot of yards and a lot of catches. So that's why I have him at 6.
So for my number 6, I got Amon-Ra St. Brown for the Detroit Lions. He's elite, you know. He enjoyed a 129.4 passer rating when they were targeting Amon-Ra St. Brown. He had an 81.6 reception rate. I just can't put him past 6, though. You know, it's just something in me is like, he just didn't do it enough for me.
At my number 5, I have the NFL crash out George Pickens. He had a great receiver. He had a great receiving season, technically being the number 2 receiver in Dallas, but I think he's the number 1 receiver in Dallas. But he had 93 catches, 1,400 yards, and 9 touchdowns, which is 8th for catches, 3rd for yards, and tied 8th for touchdowns. But I put him up at 5 because he was performing as a wide receiver 1 in a wide receiver 2 role. So that's why I have him at 5, but I can't put him any higher because my top 4, I think they perform better.
For my number 5, I got A.J. Brown. You know, and it might just be a little bit of biasy because I do love AJ Brown as a wide receiver, but I think dealing with his physicality and strength for a wide receiver is such a problem on the defensive side. And it comes down to it at the end of the day, it's really that simple, you know. You can't beat physicality, you know. Physicality and skill, and that's why I got AJ Brown in my.
All right, so at my number 4, I have Devontae Adams. The reason I have him at number 4, he led the league in touchdowns, sitting at 14, and he only had 60 catches. 14 touchdowns and 60 catches is fucking crazy. He had 784 yards, and he was on a very, very hot offense, and he was the primary target in the red zone, which means something. If you could produce 14 touchdowns in a season and lead that stat in the whole NFL, you deserve a spot in the top 5. So I have him at number 4.
So my number 4 is CeeDee Lamb with his 101 catches for basically 1,200 yards is impressive considering, you know, that the split between him and Pickens. About 45% of Lamb's yards came after the catch, which was producing about 235 receiving yards after first contact, which is again elite. And his red zone production was only modest, you know. But he had 9 catches for 57 yards and 3 touchdowns. There's no better way to use an elite name like CeeDee Lamb than the way the Dallas Cowboys did.
We're going to jump into the top 3 now. So I have Amon-Ra St. Brown at my number 3. You had him ranked lower than me. I have him up this high. He was on a hot Lions offense. He had 117 catches, 1,400 yards, and 11 touchdowns. Tied 2nd for touchdowns. He was 5th for yards and 5th for catches. I think he had a pretty elite season. He could have helped a little bit more, maybe got a couple more touchdowns, but I feel like he had an elite season sitting at number 2 for touchdowns and number 5 for both catches and yards. And it's the Lions. The Lions had a great season. They just couldn't get in the postseason. That's all it was.
Yeah. So my number 3, as you described him, is the crash out himself, George Pickens. I don't need to go over his stats, of course. And just like I said, looking back at who's on that Dallas Cowboys team and the production rate between an elite, you know, wide receiver and then another elite wide receiver 1, you see the split share and the amount of yards he got. His stats back it up for himself. He deserves that number 3.
You have both Dallas wide receivers sitting in the top 10.
Yeah, I do.
That's wild. I see why you're going there, but that's wild to me.
Yeah.
At number 2, I have notably one of the best wide receivers in the NFL in the last 2 seasons, Puka Nacua, sitting at 129 catches, 1,715 yards, and 10 touchdowns. He was 1st in catches, 2nd in yards, 6th in touchdowns. Honestly, they were one of the hottest if not the hottest offenses in the league. My personal opinion, the Super Bowl was Seattle versus Rams, which that was my Super Bowl. It was a really good game to watch. The Rams had a great season. Puka had a great season, and I don't see why he shouldn't be top 2.
Yeah. So I also have Puka Nacua at number 2, so I won't even get into his stats, but I think he's elite. You know, you've seen his game, and since he's been a rookie, he's been an impact. So I think he deserves number 2.
Okay, so based off that, I think we have the same number 1. And I have JSN at my number 1 spot.
Yep. I also have JSN at my number 1 spot.
Super Bowl champ.
Of course.
119 catches, 1,793 yards, 10 touchdowns, led the league in yards. You got anything else to add on to him?
No, man, he's just elite. I can't wait to see what he does next year. I hope he can keep up that performance. But as of right now, he is my number one for the 2025 season.
And the thing I gotta say for both our number one and number two, their secondary receiver was Cooper Kupp, who was also won a championship, I think in 2020, MVP for that game. And he's over there mentoring these young guys, and look what the stats they're performing at.
Yeah, it's insane what you can do with a veteran. Just having that mentality has really brought them forward, and you can't get much better than that combo. They're both elite. Even as young of a wide receiver as they are, getting mentored by someone like Cooper Kupp it's really benefiting their career, and it's going to benefit the rest of the season. It's going to start to show when they're breaking 1,800 yards, 1,900 yards, even maybe into the 2,000. I'd love to see that, but I'd love to see it.
I would too. I would love to see a 2,000-yard year from a wide receiver,
especially one like JSN or Puka Nacua.
I could see it from them too, though. Definitely could.
Sure. That's what I'm saying. They'd be the two to do it, man.
That was me and Jaden's top 10 wide receivers of 2025. But stick around because the next video we got top 10 running backs of 2025.
This one's my favorite.